With a flat tyre on one of the motorbikes, we're heading down the gridline track to intercept another spur line and look for another campsite. This will be Paul's last ride this trip. Hunting for another horse yard before Paul has to go. We can't really find it, can't find the track, haven't found any evidence of the old roller line, but we have come across this muddy section. Looks like the water's come down in the last few days. It's the last bit that's left over before it evaporates. Caterpillars. Processionary caterpillars. We did find a small camp yesterday, as well as the caterpillar cocoon. But this morning Paul is leaving and making the long drive home on his own. Even though we had ridden the short track out to the road, he decided to check out a couple of lakes on the way back and took a different route, proving that we can access this area from several places on the Great Eastern Highway. Now Steve and I keep exploring by ourselves. We pulled up at another horse yard we've found in the bush. We're not the first people to be at this one, though the last ones, over the last couple of days we have been, for a long time anyway. We saw a lot of ribbon markers on the trees as we came in here, and an old four-wheel drive track, but it's been quite some time since anybody visited this place. As we walk through, you can see the remnants of when people lived here, and if I dig this area up here, we can see clearly the old ash. There's a few trees down here due to storms. Once again, there's remnants of tin cans and things lying on the ground, and another covered ash pit, clearly with bits and pieces of animal bone inside. This is interesting. A white container. What's really interesting about it, it's got a barcode on the bottom. Can you get it undone? It turns out to be cold cream. We think it was dropped by whoever beat us here.
Wet.
You know what that is? That's, I think that's lime. When this was an active camp, there were no such things as flushing toilets, only long drops. Lime was used to reduce the odours and smells of the toilet, and perhaps also reduce the problem of flies.
There seems to be a lot here, but
What you found?
tin of cocoa. Soluble cocoa, 8 ounces. Oh, in Holland.
This cocoa tin was from a Dutch company called C.J. van Houten and Zoon.
This looks like a powder tin.
Continuing further south, we've come to another small camp, and the rubber line is just in front of us, and it's gone through a bit of a depression under the trees here, and you can see the raised section where the formation, if you can call it that, was built up. Bit of stuff left over from the day. Country Beco. A Legos bottle. Don't know what would have been there. Legos of Bendigo. Interesting. Another Holbrook sauce. And old case. Should have been a bit careful turning that over. Last time we did it we saw a snake. Old Dietz Tilly lamp, or hurricane lamp, and the remains of a few blue bottles, plus a small section of railway line and a file. As we wander around this camp we find a lot more interesting items, though most of them are broken, and I guess that's why they were left behind.
It is, it's a dunny can. A bucket. There's an old inkwell.
Bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Beautiful purple coloured glass. The way these bottles are lined up here sort of indicates that someone has been in the area before and collected them and put them down. Doesn't mean to say there's not something useful in there, but not this lot. Oh, look at that. Hook just came out of that. That's pretty old.
Yeah.
Hasn't been there for a short period of time.
Yeah. One gate hook. Stop those chickens getting out.
They're not chickens, that's wire.
Well, there's a dead chicken under it.
Yeah, could be a snake under it. Found some bits of metal that have been worked. You can see the hammer marks just there. And it looks like a weld there. And over there is an old horse trough or feed trough. There is no way I'm going to turn that over. Who knows what's living under it. But over here we also found, or rode over, a few artefacts from the horse yard days. One large horseshoe and some other metalwork and a couple of files. Once again, bits of clinker and a whole pile of ash which is next to a pit. And sometimes I think they used to dig these pits and then empty the crap out of the locos and just dump it. This is a dead giveaway that someone's actually been out here and explored and found bottles. There's one of those Legos bottles, but it's got a nice purple colour. There's another one there. So same sort of bottle, same company. There's 3 of them. 4 of them. And there's 5 of them. The fact that they're all here like this means that someone has walked around and discovered all the useful stuff in here. But like with the coins we found the other day, you got to keep looking because not everything gets discovered by whoever comes in here first. And sometimes you can be really, really lucky. You just got to look through the bush, and sometimes stuff just appears magically in front of you. Oh, look. Look what I found. Buried in the bush is a Legos bottle, and it's purple. How's that? So we're hunting through the bush looking for camps that were probably here around 1922, so 100 years ago. And this particular one's quite a large camp, and there's heaps and heaps of broken bottles on this area where everything's been discarded. And Stephen's going to kick it over, and you'll see that there is actually ash here. And it's been here since these bottles were put here.
And the bottles have gone purple from age, so it shows you how long they've been here. Pretty deep. Not like some of the others.
This camp seemed to be quite spread out, and there was a lot of stuff to see. There appears to have been no attempt to bury the rubbish originally, unless this is just what was left in the days before the camp moved. Just thinking to myself, there's no modern rubbish out here, and as soon as I said it, there we go, there's a ring pull can, and it's actually the quite modern style, so someone's been out here and they just throw their rubbish away. We're heading back to our camp now and cutting through the scrub to a grid line, hoping this will be a quicker way out. We just popped out of the bush into a rocky outcrop. That's what we've been riding through. We should be following a rail track, but they are so old it is impossible to locate in most times. Just saw a couple of emus over there. Sure is the rower line.
chain, isn't it?
No, that's alright.
The rower line along through here.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing dog spikes everywhere.
Someone else has also been down through here because there's a ribbon on that tree over there. While Stephen takes a break, I'm going to explore the track immediately ahead of us. And it's lucky we stopped because look at that. Lucky these things can't jump.
They can. Just tickle a web.
No, no aimless wandering through the bush here. There's proof that we're actually on the woodline. There's the raised area there, which is the actual formation. This was probably the main line, and the other little tracks have been going off have been the spurs into the smaller camps.
Our search continues, this time more northwards towards Kululi. As we head up this track we find more campsites that are spread out and more evidence that these camps have been visited previously.
Yep. Yeah, it's got a hole. Yeah. How do I know I'm on the railway tracks? I can tell you how I know I'm on the railway tracks. I'm just going to look down. I know we're on the track because we've got a broken doohickey yeah, for coupling the wagons together. West Australian Government Railway, 1913. Now this showed up on Google Earth as a clearing, and I thought it could have been a horse yard, very big horse yard, but it's not. It's a low-lying area and it's collected a shitload of water. Just driven for quite some time to find this isolated camp. Looks quite large and very open, but guess what I've found? Down here is a pretty impressive when you think about all the work that went on out here. People lived out here, cut all the trees. There's also people that surveyed the track into here, the route into here for the rower line, and then built the rower line. That would have been really, really hard work in 1920. No mobile phones, no air conditioning, no large populations with cars and all that sort of stuff. It was tough shit. And we can still find evidence of their life here. And evidence of their work. A massive old saw blade. So you can get an idea of how tall it is. I'm 5'7" or 8. Legos. Still with a cap on it. Of these bottles. Either gin or aromatic schnapps. Yeah, JDKZ. From Rotterdam. John de Kuiper and Son. Okay. What in the world is this? Two more lamps.
They're both different. That one's made in the USA.
A milk bottle, first one we found out in this area. It's got two, well, quite a few chips on the top. One imperial pint. Pretty cool. And Julie, the master barista, has prepared lunch. Going to sit down and have a feast. And Stephen's going to open up the tobacco tin that we found in the bush and check out what that rattling is. What's the rattling inside that tin?
Quandong nuts.
Oh, Bugger me.
Even
I
the
don't
fig.
think they're going to grow.
Nope. Wow. 100 years in a tin will do to something. That one didn't break.
100-year-old nuts.
Sadly, our break at the Woodlines has come to an end and we head off back to Perth with a planned stop at Barabin to check out the cemetery with one known burial.
We're right next to the Great Eastern Highway at Barabin. Behind me and in front of me is the original east-west rower line to Kalgoorlie, which was abandoned when the Indian Pacific or the standard gauge went through, and that's way over there somewhere now. We're actually at the Barabin Cemetery. Disturbingly, it's all been ripped up as part of fire protection. All the high vegetation has been levelled, and this area's been ripped up. So the person who was buried here, the grave is going to be forever forgotten. Somewhere around here is a grave, and there is no way we're going to be able to find it anymore.
Our Easter trip this year is over. Thanks for watching. We'll be back again.